Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday morning to you. And
That
as you can see, we are very happy to have a guest here with us today. I'm going to let Rodney introduce her because Rodney is the one who introduced her to me.
yeah.
And I'm so excited she's here because I've been doing some listening this morning to her album.
Mm-hmm.
Probably already said more than I should have, but
Yeah.
and oh my goodness, it moved me to tears. And I'm so excited to meet her. So, Rodney, will you do us the honors, please?
For sure. For sure. Well, as you all know, I actually recently took a little trip to North Carolina. So I was at LAX airport. And so it was the funniest thing. There was this big water bottle that was sitting in the seat. And everybody kept staring at this water bottle. And they thought it was mine. And so I started saying, is that your water bottle? And so I spoke to Daniella's mom and I said, ma'am, is this yours? She goes, no, I thought it was yours. And so we struck up a conversation as we were waiting for the flight. And lo and behold, we started talking. And I don't know how it happened, but we started talking. And so, um, the mom introduced me to Daniella and Annetta. And so I said, okay. So we started talking. I said, well, what do you do? And she said, I'm a performer. I sing. I said, really? So she started telling me about her music. And so I am very, very excited, everybody. And you're watching the This Way Network. This is the chat session. And today we have a very, very special guest. Without further ado, we have with us Miss Daniella Morrow, and she is a singer, songwriter, performer extraordinaire, fantastic. Daniella, welcome to the chat session.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks for
Daniella,
having me
I
today.
love, it was just the way it was kind of like real simple how we met and we started talking. So as I got on the flight, she said, oh, I'll send you some of my music. And so I am in flight, and I'm like, man, I really wanted to pull up her music. And so right before the plane took off, I kind of clicked into my Wi-Fi and I started listening to her album. And I was like, wow, this is really good. And so, when you start flying, the internet cuts off, right? Or you're supposed to go in airplane mode. So I said, excuse me, I need to buy some, so I went online and I bought some Wi-Fi. So now I'm kicked back on my flight listening to this wonderful music. And so I have to tell you, you have to get an opportunity to really dig into her music. So, Danielle, tell me a little bit about how did it all begin? How did it all start for you?
That's always the big question, huh? How did it start?
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't quite pinpoint it, but I think that since I was little, I always loved music. Um, my dad was always singing to me. My parents always had the best music. My mother, of course, was singing to me too. Um, but it was kind of cool because my father was born in 34
Okay.
and my mom was born in 60. So I had a wide range of
Of
music I was
music.
listening to
Wow.
growing up. And then at age 5, I believe, because I had a friend of mine who played piano. Well, her and all her sisters played piano. And so I was like, I want to do that. I want to learn how to play piano because
Wow.
it was music, right? Anything music. I gravitated to it. So at 5, I began piano lessons. And I was doing piano for most of my childhood into my teen years. And now I'm starting to get back into it again. But that was like, I guess you could say the start. And then at around 9, I began performing in some musical productions. But get this, I was very shy growing up, like very, very shy. I mean, I was not like you were, Mr.
Oh.
Rippy. As a child, I was like, I can't, I don't know anything. I don't sing.
Oh.
So I was in these performances, these productions, and I was like, I just want to be on the ensemble. Like, I just keep me in the background.
Right.
I want to audition. I don't want anybody staring at me. So for 4 or 5 years, I was just ensemble. So that was kind of, I guess, the beginnings of me really getting into music and just really being drawn in. It's like I felt like I was without any control, I guess you could say. Just
Okay.
I was always very in tune to music everywhere that I went. So.
And Daniela, so who would you say would be an inspiration for you?
Ooh, an inspiration, like an artist.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I always say Celine Dion was a big one for me growing up.
Okay. Okay.
I vividly remember looking at her album when I was like 5 or 6 in the car,
Mm-hmm.
and listening to her music and just staring. And I'm like, wow, like something about her. I was like, I just
Mm-hmm.
like what I'm hearing, and her
Wow.
voice, she could be so soft, but then obviously we know she has that power.
Mm-hmm.
So she's
Mm-hmm.
definitely a big one for me. There's so many to name. I can name hundreds, but
I can imagine. Yes.
yeah, one of
And
them for
She
so,
sure.
uh, she has the ability, like I think you probably do too, of putting all of her emotion into the music.
Yeah.
She does not hold back, whether she's singing softly or whether she's belting it out there. There's
Mm-hmm.
all the energy and emotion. She doesn't hold anything back. I
Yeah,
think that's one of the reasons she's such a huge success.
I do too. Yeah, no, that's 100%. She gives it her all. You're invested, and I think um, which is the reason why I believe I love musical theater a lot. It's the storytelling
mhm.
behind the music, and
Mhm.
she is such an incredible storyteller.
And we got to also say
Mhm.
hello to all our viewers out there. Hello. We have Sabrina on, Carrie, Elvira, gosh, Chloe, everybody, all of our regulars are on. Thank you for popping in. AC Cruz. Hey, how you doing, AC?
So good to see you guys. Thank you.
That's right.
Oh, and Carrie's asking about my brother. Can I give an update on my brother
Sure.
really,
Yes,
really quick? Thank
that's
you.
important. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Danielle, you don't know my brother is going through stage 4 cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been in the hospital, had major surgery, came through it really well. Had a little hiccup yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little bit of drama yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He had some bleeding that
Mm-hmm.
was quite unexpected. And thankfully, I honestly believe the ICU nurses may have saved his life because it was significant bleeding and they made sure he got into the OR quickly enough to get it stopped. And so a
Wonderful.
little setback, but he's doing better today and
Mm-hmm.
he's still in very good spirits and knows that God has him.
Wow.
So,
Amen.
y'all, thank you so much for your prayers for him. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that.
That is
Amen.
wonderful. I mean, that's good news. And so you've been with him every step of the way. And that's what a sister is for. Family, it's
Yeah.
a tough time, when you don't feel well. And then but when you got your family and friends and people pulling for you, man, that really makes a difference. It really does.
It
Mm.
sure does. Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah.
And I am looking forward to sharing some of your music with my brother because my
Mhm.
brother is a huge music fan, like you, all
Mhm.
genres. He likes
Mhm.
everything. And he is always very eager to share what he likes with other people. So,
Mhm.
and having said that, I'm going to follow my brother's footsteps here. I just put the link to your album on YouTube
Oh,
in
Uh-huh.
our chat
There you
so
go.
that other people can click on that and go to it. I got
Yeah.
to tell you, I was
awesome.
enjoying it this morning and before we got on because I wanted to, be familiar with your music. And y'all, I hadn't been listening maybe 15 seconds, and all of a sudden I was getting choked up
Oh.
because I was feeling that the beauty and the emotion of it. And I was very surprised to see one of the songs that I've always really liked, which
Mhm.
is You'll Never Walk Alone.
Oh,
And I
okay.
hardly ever see that anymore. So I was thrilled. And that was the first one I listened to.
Mhm.
Well worth it. Y'all need to go over there and check them all out. Check them all out. They're
There
all
you
good.
go. And we
Thank
want
you.
you
Thank you.
definitely, if you can, go check out our website. That's DanielaMorrow.com. There you can see all of her wonderful things that kind of speak about her career. And so when I met Daniela and her mom, she was on her way to Texas, I believe. And where were you going when you were
Yeah.
at?
Yeah, I was going to Texas for like a health convention.
Mm-hmm.
This particular organization's been around for 70 years, and
Mm-hmm.
it just talks a lot on health as far as like holistic health.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I was going, and I was going to perform at their gala.
Wow.
So that, yeah,
Wow.
that was
And you
fun.
and you're not just your typical artist. You sing in multiple languages, I understand.
I do. I
Yeah.
do. I love the languages.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously English, but Italian, Spanish, and French as well.
Yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome.
Mhm.
And so, you know, the whole thing, the topic of today basically is, maxing out on your God-given talents. And a lot of times there's certain people who cook, and there are certain people who build things and create and innovate. And so you as an artist, what would you say, you know, is a way that you would encourage people? Because there has to be a starting point, even for me, when I started out as an actor, I was a little kid, but as you go through it, you learn the facets of the business. And so, you being an artist, what are some of the key things that people need to kind of lock in if they say, you know what, I want to make a go at this? What is one of the first things that you would tell people to really key in on?
Yeah, I think the first thing that you should key in on is if you have a really great love for what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the old cliche, it'll never feel like work,
That's right.
but it is, at the same time, it is hard work.
Mm-hmm.
um, but the energy that you put into it, kind of like how we are talking earlier about Celine, um, whatever your craft is,
Mm-hmm.
as much energy as you put into it, it gives you back energy at the same time.
Right.
But definitely realizing that it's not just, you don't get to your goals and your dreams by just hoping one
Mm-hmm.
day you'll just be discovered. Not just, obviously that does happen for some people, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's the journey of struggling and learning,
Mm-hmm.
um, and mistakes. They, like the
Right.
old saying says, a success is a string of failures. It really grows you as a, not just as an artist, whatever your
Mm-hmm.
art is, but as a person too.
Mm-hmm.
All that experience really adds to your art. And yeah, sometimes when things come too easy,
Mm-hmm.
the appreciation for it isn't the same, I feel
Right.
like.
Right. Right.
um yeah, I just feel like the struggle is necessary.
Sure, it's a learning curve. You're going to learn, and as you
Yeah.
go, had the pleasure of sitting down with Daniella and again her mom. And I had a colleague of mine. His name's Marvin Spruill, creator founder of Country Soul Music Awards. And Marvin, I let Marvin take a listen to some of the music. He got so excited, and he's dear friends with a gentleman by the name of Andrew Francis. And Andrew was a guy who really discovered Garth Brooks and kind of took Garth Brooks. A lot of people don't know he met Garth Brooks selling shoes. He was in like a store
Mm.
selling shoes, and somehow they happened onto a conversation. And the next thing you know, they're talking about music. And he said, "Yeah, I sing." And he didn't know that Andrew was one of the biggest music managers around. Had worked with the Oak Ridge Boys, David Bowie, some really hot people. And so he took Garth on as a, a no-name act, and now Garth is known worldwide. And Garth, of course, had his talent, but when you have good management and people like that. And so we actually are very excited because Mr. Andrew Francis has got an ear on Daniella's music, and so he thinks that she's very special. And so we'll see where things go. So as
Mhm,
we
mhm.
we roll into this thing, um, and
Now I have a question. I have a
sure, go
question.
for it.
So, Daniela, you spoke about being very shy, not wanting to sing in front of people. How did you overcome that? That really
Mm.
resonates with me because I had a daughter who loved music, loved to sing from the time she was in the crib. She loved that. And I
Oh,
used to sing to her, and we would sing, together when we were washing dishes and stuff like that. And she told me one day, I asked her, "Well, what do you want to do? What's your love? What would you like to do?" And she said, "I want to be a country music singer." And I said, "Okay, well, how can we get behind you on this? Let's see if maybe we can help you sing in church, maybe get a solo or something in church." And she said, "Oh, no, no, I don't want to sing in front of people. No, I could never do that."
oh
And I said, "But,
goodness.
if you're going to be a country music singer, you kind of need to do that." She said, "No, no, I'm never going to do that." She said, "I'll just make the albums." And I thought, I don't know how to explain to you that you're not going to get the chance to make the albums if you're not willing to get in front of an audience.
Mm.
So, and she, as far as I know, she's never done anything with it, but so
Hey,
that resonates with me. I thought, how could I have helped her along, and how did you manage to overcome that shyness? Because
Yeah.
obviously you have to get up in front of people to sing.
Yes, it's part of the job description, I guess you could say.
Yes.
Getting in front of people. Yeah. I think it was kind of two-part of I was about 19 at the time. And I something in my brain just clicked. I say something in my brain clicked, but at the same time I really know that was God because
Mm-hmm.
I kind of had this bubbling inside of me for a long time. Obviously, I really loved
Mhm.
music, every part of music, but I really loved singing. So I think at some point in my brain, God just put it, in my brain that you love this. Just give it a try. What can you do to
There you go.
get past the shyness? Um, and I think the second part of that is getting out of the comfort zone, out of my
Right.
comfort zone, which is a big thing for most people, right? I mean, I'm comfortable here. I'm not causing too much of a fuss. So once I started taking the voice lessons,
Mm.
that was a big jump, and that's just one person listening to me.
Sure.
And I was still very hesitant. I wouldn't
Mm.
fully sing out in front of my teacher. But I went from the first teacher I started with, and I went through about two teachers until I found the one that I'm even in contact with till this point.
Wow.
And I will definitely say, like, I learned something from all of them.
Mhm.
Because by the time I was 20, I did do a showcase, and I sang out. But the final teacher that I have, she explained something to me that I never really thought about had anything to do with music. And she said, it's confidence.
Wow.
It's your
Right.
confidence. I don't remember the exact percentage she would say, but it's something like, 10% talent, 90% confidence. It was something big like that. And obviously she knows you have to have the talent for it. But
Right.
I was like, oh, yeah, that's true. Because I was not confident, and I was very self-conscious growing up, which is
Mhm.
another reason why I didn't want people looking at me at all. So that really helped me. And the fact that she knew how to instill that confidence in me. She just has a way about how she teaches that made me feel very safe and just, yeah, like confident that I could do what I was doing. So that helped tremendously. The nerves, and you hear a lot of performers say
Right.
this, the nerves, I don't think ever truly go away. For some
No.
people, it may be way less,
Mhm.
but because I've heard a couple entertainers say, like, oh, I don't get nervous. I don't get nervous. And I'm just like, well, I don't know if I fully believe you don't get nervous at all.
Right. Right.
Because you channel those nerves too. It's an
Oh,
energy,
yeah.
right? The nervousness, you
Yeah.
channel it. And the practice. Once I started, I remember when I was first starting out, every single time I sang my first note, it never failed. I would crack.
Mhm.
I would crack on my first note, and I'm like, why do I keep doing this? But it was just me getting through how I've been for so long, the shy person, and
Mhm.
the practice of constantly getting out there.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and a lot of times too, like you've seen your first song, you kind of releasing all that energy, and then you
Mhm.
you kind of settle into it. So yeah, to answer your question, I think it's knowing deep down that God gave you this talent, you really love it, and it's very kind of selfish not to share it. I feel
Right.
with
Yes.
people,
Yes.
and the confidence. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think that's huge what you just said. Go
that,
ahead, Rodney. I'm
no,
sorry.
I'm just sitting there thinking about, because, but, we look at the school system and, the arts are a major part. Now it's all STEAM, science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. And well, funny for me, I was just this little kid that I just did not think that I should be shy. So I never, it didn't bother
Mhm.
me one way or
Yeah.
the other. But um, the one thing that I do, I realize the arts really do help you articulate. It gives you that confidence when you get up. If you can perform or present in front of a crowd of people, you have a very deep confidence level. And life is constantly throwing things at you to kind of knock you off balance. But when you have something that can kind of pull you back and center you, because when you're up there on the stage, I mean, you're performing for everyone, and everyone may not love you. And I think probably my biggest challenge was doing stand-up comedy. Now, you talk about something that will make you sweat. You have to make people laugh, and you really have to stay away from other people's material. So
Mm.
when I wrote my material, I was sitting there thinking, is this joke anything like anything I've ever heard? So, man, you really have to create new. And even as a music artist, that's what it's all about. It's allowing your personality, your writing ability, your
Mhm.
your message to come across. And so, that is what the next superstar is all about. It's about creating
Mhm.
that audience and that following, and letting
Mhm.
people fall in love with
Mhm.
you, your image, what you're all about,
Mm.
and hopefully, collaborations and things like that. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, and so I would,
Your
yeah,
your unique God-given purpose.
that's right.
That's what I'm hearing you say and all of that is that once you get a hold of the fact that there is a purpose for
There
this,
Mm-hmm.
you
that
go.
God gave me a purpose with this talent and
Mhm.
putting me in this time and place and giving me these opportunities. And when you know what that purpose is and this is what you want to communicate to
Mhm.
people, then that alone brings you a lot of confidence because you realize God has not given that purpose to anyone else.
But
You are unique. There is no one
right.
else who is going to be
Exactly.
able ever to take your place.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so, what the message is, whether it's the message of the song or it's just the message of you too have a talent, and
Mhm.
because each person does, you too have a talent, and give it back.
Mm-hmm.
Give it
Mhm.
back to God with abandon, and let the
Mhm.
world be edified by that.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Yes.
that's what I hear you were doing, and that just really excites me because you can. I think that's what um, makes people want to listen. That's what
Mm-hmm.
draws people is that whether they recognize it's God or not, it's that God connection
Right.
Mm-hmm.
that they are recognizing and feeling. You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
I think we all know it is painful. It's painful to watch people who are self conscious
Mm.
try
Yeah.
to get up and do anything. And
Mm-hmm.
we're all for them, we're
Mhm.
encouraging them, but we all feel for them because we feel their pain. We
Yeah.
feel their self-consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And the message that sends across is
Mhm.
not really there's no real purpose in it
Yeah.
because they're feeling that self-conscious.
Yes.
Right.
But when you can sing like that with that kind of abandon and that and yet
Mm.
within your training at the same
Right.
Yes.
time,
Yes. Yes.
because
Yes.
that's so important too.
I remember being in high school, and I loved oral book reports, and everybody else hated them. I was like, man, this is a cakewalk, and all my friends were just shaking. I said, come on, guys, loosen up. And I told myself, we all know each other. So I actually started coaching some of my friends. I said, what are you nervous about? I'm just nervous. I don't need to be nervous. I said, look, we're all students. We all hang out in the hallway, and so what's the big deal? And actually, it did help some of my friends. I started telling them, I said, look, just pick one or two faces that you're really familiar. And as a performer, sometimes you have a sea of people. Actually, when you're on stage, a lot of times the lights, you really can't see exactly who you're singing to. However, if you can lock in and kind of connect with the audience and stuff like that, it just takes your nerves down, and you got so much to focus on as an artist. Your presentation, where you're standing, are you loose? And that's what it's all about. And so, you being an artist and you doing everything from private events to corporate events, I mean, and special festivals and things like that, that's wonderful, and that's what this is all about, everybody. We're here on the chat session. This is a This Way Network. And again, we have an incredible artist with us, Miss Daniella Morrow. And so she's a singer, songwriter, performer, and just doing fantastic stuff in the music world. And so, I know you got more questions. You look like you're thinking about something. What do you think about?
I do. I have, because you are a songwriter, one of the things I wondered as I was listening to your album is how much of that material is original?
Actually, on that album, those are all covers. I've really just started to sink my teeth into songwriting. It's funny because I've been writing thoughts and lyrics down for honestly probably like 7-8 years, but it's definitely a hurdle or a block that I created in my own brain of like, what do I have to say? Or it's not that good. It's not going to be that good. I don't know how to write a song. But just last year, I feel like this was God too, because there was a song that just started flowing out. I haven't released it or anything. Because I still go through those blocks of like,
Right.
But it's a very freeing experience, and once you kind of surrender yourself to it.
I'm gonna tell you, keep a recorder around, because because if you feel something, you feel that melody. If something starts hitting you, man, grab your recorder, start humming that tune in and put it in, and then you can always come back, layer it, keep adding more to it. And again, also too, it is those collaborations. A dear friend of mine, his name's Bill Montgomery. We got a big event coming up on the 19th out here in California, and he just happened to bump into Jimmy Jam from Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and so was with it. And Jimmy Jam was at an event, big car event with his two sons, and so come to find out, he loves music, but he also is a car fanatic. He loves cool cars and stuff, and so it's all about those connections and collaborating, and you never know how someone could just talk with you and kind of pull that writing and kind of fine tune it, because once you start writing, it's a key thing for a music artist, because if you are a performer, that's one thing. But if you write your music, now you own the mechanicals. And so when the revenues start up as a writer, as an artist, it kind of helps stack things in your favor. And you could take it wherever you want to go at that point.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's collaboration's a big thing that I love. Whether it's singing with somebody or writing, I would love to, because there's that exchange of thoughts and again energy, and it just creates that world of creativity. It just expands upon it, I think, when you can work with somebody else. So I'm excited about it for sure. I see
Daniella, I hope you're getting to see those comments coming in. Elvira was saying, God-given talents give us the ability to share with others and express gratitude to God. I think this deepens our relationship with God. Daniella, Your voice is angelic, big
Oh,
talent.
Thank
And I happen to agree
you.
with her about that.
that's
Thank
You
you.
know, what
Thank
we were
you.
saying about that before, I think that's part of what makes you were talking about your one person who inspired you, Celine Dion.
mhm,
And I think one thing that makes people um, big names is when they give us that experience of being able to forget ourselves
mhm,
and instead be focused on the experience or the message in the music or letting it reach us and heal us in
Yes.
some
mhm,
way, you know, touch us in ways that maybe we didn't anticipate.
mhm.
I kind of think of music as coming in the back door. Sometimes,
Mm.
you know, we don't know that we need something, and then we hear a song or something comes
Yes.
in that way, and suddenly it's reaching us in a place that we didn't even know we were vulnerable.
Yes.
That's right.
And God is bringing healing to us. So,
And it
Exactly.
unifies. Music unifies. That's one
Unifies.
thing that a thing about
mhm,
music. Music is so universal because people from all around the world, different backgrounds, different nationalities. But when you interject music into the thing,
Just
people become one. You know, they
yeah.
really come together.
mhm,
No, it's true. And that's something I really love about music is the unifying, bringing people together.
mhm,
And like you said just now too, Nina, that it's healing.
Mhm,
I mean, now there's like a lot of studies done. There's actually a video on YouTube. It's very interesting. I don't remember what country, but it's in Europe somewhere.
mhm,
And they've literally been helping people to heal, and to obviously calm their nervous system down with music,
mhm,
in all
mhm,
different ways, shapes, and forms, whether it's babies in like ICU or
mhm,
people that have Parkinson's, that, you know, that control over their body, and finding that different ways of exposing them to music helps these things. And I was just like, I
mhm.
knew music was healing because it feels very healing for myself
You're
and
right.
very
mhm,
freeing as well. But seeing that actual, you know, the physical reactions that people are having to it,
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
mhm,
there you go.
mhm,
I mean, it's to me, it's one of those things that like it instantly hits you. It doesn't
Mhm,
take any
mhm,
time. It's like the
mhm.
minute you start hearing
Yes,
it, the effects it has on your brain and your nervous system is
yep.
yes,
incredible. It's incredible.
yes. I think it
Yeah.
reaches you more quickly than just about anything else.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's such a great
And
form
that
of
shared,
communication.
yes,
Mhm,
yes. And that shared experience that people have, even though people may not be having the exact same experience,
mhm.
because, you know, they're bringing something to it themselves.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so, but still, everyone is having an experience, and
Mhm.
that
Exactly.
collective experience, I think, is part of what makes uh, a singer so revered.
Right.
And you
Yes.
know, when you realize, oh, it's not just me. Yes, Elvira, music unites. It
Mm,
really does.
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
So,
One thing here in Southern California, traffic is terrible. I mean, we got some of the worst traffic around, but the one thing, there was a big, huge study that said quality music really takes the stress off of people. You know, if you're
Mm,
sitting in traffic and you got your favorite CD on, and they also said the quality of stereo within the car. If you spend a little bit of money and you really have that really high fidelity in your car, not just loud, but clean, crisp music. They say it just takes a lot of the stress off. And so you really, even if you're sitting in traffic, you pop in, you know, your CD, or you go to your MP3s, and you sync your phone to
mhm.
it. Believe it or not, it takes a lot of stress off. It takes your stress off of people's driving.
mhm,
Somebody cuts you off, you don't really notice it because you're kind of in that zone. And so
Yes.
mhm.
hopefully,
Yes.
here we go, everybody. This is
Yes.
Daniella Morrow. This is her wonderful CD, and the
Mhm.
title of this CD is Inspired. And ha ha ha, I have my copy, and ha ha ha, mine is autographed. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
All right, now I'm jealous.
Yep. I'm sorry.
Not
But,
making him jealous.
I was very honored, and I was able to get a copy of this wonderful CD. And it says inside the cover, I dedicate this album to my mother and father, whose love, understanding, and belief in me has always remained the constant foundation of my life. Thank you for shaping me into the person that I am today. Now, that is pretty doggone cool. Right in the cover, she gives props to mom and dad. Wow.
Yeah.
Love that. And I love the picture on the cover
Yeah.
with you. Just looking at that, on YouTube, that's all I had to look at was that picture, but I was looking at that while I was listening to you sing. And your whole expression there, and then the sea behind you, and I'm assuming it was a sunset. It may have been a sunrise. I don't know. But
Yeah.
anyway, it was just so soothing.
Yeah.
So very soothing, and helped me, just looking at that, helped me get into the whole vibe of the album. Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
It's really lovely.
Yeah. The ocean is so powerful. I feel like too. That's another. I mean, being in nature just in general, but the ocean is very calming for our bodies, and so yeah, that's why too the music video I did, by the ocean, by the sea, because I was like, I just want that feeling and that from
Oh
nature.
yeah.
It
Well,
really feeds me.
the CD has 10 wonderful selections on it. And again, everybody, you can go to DaniellaMorrow.com. That's DANIELLA Morrow, MORROW.com. And you can get your copy. You can get a copy. If you know of anybody who loves good music, makes for a great gift. Yeah, thank you there. Thank you for putting that up there on the screen. You can get you a copy, because this is all about supporting a budding artist. That's what this is all about. And we appreciate your professionalism. And as you can see, you're out here, you're doing incredible events. You are highly regarded, because people look out for you. They want you to be a part of things. Here's a wonderful shot of you. Look at you. You got your big backdrop. Man, that is incredible. Daniella Morrow. Wow. And I could imagine how many flowers and bouquets you get after your performance. So that's a beautiful thing.
I have a whole garden.
I bet.
Hey, that's good.
All right, Carrie was asking if you're in California.
I am in California. Yes, definitely in the Los Angeles area.
Yeah.
But I travel all over.
That's right.
That's where I'm based.
Yeah.
She is available for booking. So just remember that, folks. And haven't quite, locked in the deal yet, but we're hoping to, me and my colleague Marvin, we're hoping to be able to get behind Daniella, and Marvin's getting ready to go to a big booking music. They are actually music bookers. They actually book all the festivals. So there's a big event that's coming up. Marvin's planning to attend, and he is excited about taking Daniella's information and going out here and making some really huge contacts. And hopefully we can get this thing ramped up, because the whole nation and around the world need to be able to hear this and get a hold of this incredible artist. And that's what it's all about.
Yes. Yes.
So Daniella, what is the dream? Where do you want to see your musical career go, the trajectory?
Yeah, exactly. I guess my big vision is a little bit what Rodney said, is taking it internationally.
Okay.
Obviously singing with the best orchestras would be a big goal, and someone that I would love to sing with. There's many people, but my top is to sing with Andrea Bocelli one day.
Ooh.
Now that would be just a dream come true. But yeah, just taking it all over the globe, and again, because of the languages, for me,
Mm-hmm.
the languages is something that I've always been interested in.
Hmm.
I always said I was going to be fluent in like many languages. So the music was like this way into that world, because I also love cultures, different cultures,
Sure.
people from different backgrounds. So that for me artistically really feeds me as well, is meeting people from different backgrounds.
Mhm.
It's just, yeah, that excites me a lot. I love that.
So, Daniela, are you familiar with Dimash Kudaibergen?
I am. Dimash is just, whew, he's a force.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? And but I was struck by the fact that you said a dream was to sing with Andrea Bocelli, because that was his dream too,
Yes, that's
and he got
right.
to do that. So I'm praying that you get to do that too. That would be
Oh,
tremendous.
me
And
too.
maybe on the road, get to sing with Dimash. That wouldn't be
That
bad
would be
either.
pretty incredible, because he's just, yeah, he's off the charts amazing. He also sang with a woman. Her name is Lara Fabian, and
Yes.
she's
Yes.
are you kind of familiar with Lara? Do you know her a
I
little bit?
am. I am. I've heard him sing with her. Yes.
Yes.
So,
And
yeah.
it's crazy because she I think too she was coming up at the same time that Celine was. It was in that
Hmm.
same year, I think, where both of their careers were at about the same point. But she was much more popular in Canada and Europe.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, she didn't make as big of a splash in America as I feel she should
Mhm.
have.
Mhm.
Because she's someone who really inspired me. She sings in, gosh, 10, someone said 13 languages, but I think it's about 10 languages she sings in. I
Wow.
think she knows almost that many languages, like speaks them.
Hmm.
um and so when I heard her music, I think I was 20 or 21, and I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. I want to do what she's doing. I want to sing in different languages like that. And that was also someone I believe that Dimash wanted to sing with, and then he got that opportunity. So I'm like,
Hmm.
it's possible one day I'll get to
Yeah,
sing with her too.
and he also sings in very many languages.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing I heard him sing was actually in French,
Okay. Yeah.
and I did not understand the words, and I didn't need to.
Yeah.
It,
No. No.
it did not matter at all that I
Same
didn't understand he put all the emotion into it, and I was just there. I was just so there
in it.
with him.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you speak the languages that you also sing in, the German, Italian, and French?
Yeah. So I haven't attempted German yet. That one scares me a little bit.
Oh, it
um.
shouldn't. It
Not.
shouldn't. English is a Germanic language, so
It
I think you'll
is.
find a lot of similarities.
It
Yeah.
is. That's true. The pronunciation might not be as hard as I've made it in my head.
Hmm.
But no, I don't speak any of them fluently. I'm still currently working on my Italian, because the Italian community I've been in quite a bit the past couple years, and I just love Italian culture. So that's
Hmm.
one that I'm really
Hmm.
trying to be consistent with. You have to be in that environment or listening to it often. Um,
Danella, did you perform at the Italian festival in LA?
I did last year at the LA, yes, the LA Italian Festival. Yes,
That
yes, I
guess
did.
what? My dear friend, actually, her and her husband, they actually are the ones who put that on.
Oh
And I was
wow,
going through
okay.
something, and when I saw your name, I was like, she was at the Italian festival. Darn! This year I was there last year, but I didn't get a chance to go this year because I had a
Oh,
schedule conflict. But who would
gotcha.
have guessed it that you were at the Italian? Folks, let me tell you something. The Italian festival, right in the heart of Hollywood, incredible, incredible food vendors, all kinds of really cool stuff going on. And
Yeah.
I was really, and her name is Eva Miller. Eva, she
Okay.
is I guess, president of the Italian festival. And so,
Oh,
really wonderful friend. Been knowing her for 25 years. And
wow.
we did she's also a comedian, she's a cook, and she owns the
Nice.
Italian festival. So we were able to
Wow.
meet a bunch of cool celebrities, and she's really tight with people from the Sopranos, and they came
Oh,
through. And oh man, I was like,
nice.
there he is. You know, so, I get a little starstruck too meeting so many people, but it was really cool, you know.
That's awesome.
But
That
yeah,
is so cool.
these are things that open up opportunities, and of course, the Italian community and the French community. Actually, it's funny. I actually ended up working on the wedding for the French consulate here in LA. He was the former French consulate. When he was here in LA, he got married here, and so I actually worked on his wedding. And so there's a famous picture of him coming out with his bride, and I'm standing back when the doors opened to the church, and they were leaving after the ceremony, and everybody's throwing all the rice and everything. You see me standing next to the door with an earpiece in, and I look like security, but I had worked, but I actually did have an earpiece in because we were trying to coordinate. It was really crazy. Beautiful wedding.
I love it.
Yeah, but it's all
about
those connections,
Yes. It's networking.
All right. Carrie is asking, how does, and now I'm going to say it wrong probably, but I've been saying Daniella, say her name. I asked because of the I in the spelling. Or
you got it.
Maybe that's the L. Is it Daniella?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah, that you just think of Dan and then yelling.
Yeah.
There you go.
Which I think it was Sandy Patty who said, that's all singing really is yelling on key.
Yeah, my teacher says that too. She said it's yelling on pitch. Yes, she does say that. It's
that's
true.
It.
Making it sound nice.
True.
And not hurting your chords while doing it.
Yeah, I guarantee you.
I have to tell you, but in addition to Daniella doing all the wonderful music, she's also a businesswoman. She's working very, very hard, and she's part of a family business. And Nina, I know you are the queen of health and great supplements and things like that. And this is the family business that they have, Common Sense Herbal Products. Common Sense Herbal Products. That is just, I have to say, I'm stoked. I got to get my little bag. Hold on. When we met, I left with parting gifts. And so there you go. Let me get back here. When we met, me and my colleague, Marvin, we actually had wonderful parting gifts. And so these are their top sellers. And it is the male hormone combination. Great for prostate and all that other good stuff. The guys, hey man, you got a prostate and all that good stuff. And they got something called Super Lax. Man, Super Lax, and this thing is gonna kind of clean you out because we need to be cleaned out. And sometimes you don't want to be, as they say, full of it. So you want to make sure that you are healthy. And again, I'm really, really excited. Their two biggest sellers again. Everybody, I was so stoked between all of the different products. I mean, these are just their two big sellers, Super Lax and male hormone combination, but they have things for women. They have things for there it is. Yay. Here we go. Ta-da. Here is the brochure. Now, when you start thinking about supplements, check this out, folks. Look at all the different supplements that they have. And they have Cardio Help, Blood Builder Plus, Pank Regular, Lung Health. Man, they have Golden Seal, Mullen, Skull Cap. Man, they have all activated charcoal. I mean, wow. That's just on the backside. On the inside, Super Lax, Herbal Lax, PMS. You have the male hormone combination. Whoop, whoop. That's me. And Head Start, Kidney Health, Liver Build, Lymphatic Health, Ultra Relief, Nerve Control, Bladder Support, Super Pancreas Cleanse. I mean, Daily Preventative Maintenance, Silver Soul Defense, and Liquid Chlorophyll. Good stuff, people.
Yes.
Good stuff.
got a lot of things. Got a lot of
That
things.
is what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And I have to tell you, these type of things are, important to be able to put into your life, because between, you know, we really need to stay on top of our health, and these supplements. I mean, like I said, I am so jazzed. Matter of fact, today is day one of male hormone support. Yes, male hormone combination. I've actually already had my first one, and I'm
Okay.
like, okay, so I will be starting my regimen, and definitely, I'm excited about that.
Very nice. Very nice.
So
Yeah.
how did your family get started in that, Daniela?
Yeah, so my father in the 70s, so before I was born, in the 70s, he had prostate cancer, and he was dealing with some issues, but believe they were giving him antibiotics for it, and it was about a year or so, and nothing was really helping. This was before they knew it was cancerous. And he was just like, I'm not feeling any better. And then they gave him the diagnosis. So he was in his 40s at this point, and they said, "Oh, we want to do the chemo, radiation surgery," and he just didn't like the fact that he's like, "Well, tell me what's causing it." And he said, "Well, we don't know. We don't know." So my dad is the kind of person was the kind of person where he's like, "Well, if you can't give me a reason, like reason with me." So he said, "Okay, well, that's not good enough for me to start doing all these things." And he just went off, and he's like, I have a tennis game to go to. And then he found a woman who was a herbalist and iridologist also. And she gave him 2 products. It might have been the most 3 products that were these herbs. And he began to feel the difference in 3 days. And after a year or more of not feeling much improvement, and he was like, there's something here, and his issue that he was having with the prostate, it went away, and that was what began his venture. So he just started studying on herbs and became an herbalist himself and an iridologist, and that was in the 80s, 85. So it's been 40 years of him having his
40
own product.
years. So
Yeah.
the company has been making this incredible and expanding, I'm sure, over time. It didn't start out like this, but
No.
over time the company has grown. 40 years of history here in the LA market. They ship all around the world. They ship nationally. So if you want and you feel you need to get some supplements, some really great supplements, again, make sure that you get this address. There you go. Oh, there we go. That's some serious subject. That's right. Amazing. That's true. And we have the common sense herbs. That's right. Common sense herbs. You definitely have to get you some of that, and they will ship right to your home. There's also an opportunity. I believe that her mom, Netta, was telling me that you could actually, there's a lot of people. There's people who are at home, people who say, hey, I want to supplement my income. You can become a distributor. You can learn more about that. You can become a,
Affiliate.
become an affiliate. So you can't beat that.
Yes. Health is wealth.
Health is wealth.
Amen to that.
Yeah, without your health, you can't do much. You can't do much.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, I've heard it said, and I know it's true. People who have their health have many dreams. People who don't have their health have only one, and that's to be healthy again.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
The whole focus. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it's, the opportunity is there. I mean, when you start your career in music, and as you did, you started out and you've just been growing and growing and adding, more performances to your list of performances. That's what it's all about. And so again, we are on the This Way Network. This is the chat session. I'm Rodney Allen Rippy, your host. My wonderful co-host here, Nina, as always. And again, today we have with us Daniella Morrow. She's a singer, songwriter, performer, just fantastic all around. And Daniella, you are classical pop, classical.
Yeah, it's what they consider classical crossover,
Okay.
classical pop. There's even been a very interesting term called popra. Um,
I like that.
yeah, it's
Opera.
fascinating. Yeah, I always tell people it's hard to kind of define exactly what I do because I love all styles of music, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
that classical pop. I also really love theaters, because it talks about theater, being in
Mm-hmm.
theater. I like very vocally, I guess you could say, challenging songs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anything that speaks to me, and that's the main thing.
You're also a
All right.
talent. You're also a talent that could be considered for soundtrack work for feature film, television.
Yes.
Your music is very, very broad, and it fits well in production. So I'm excited. I'm excited for you because, I always tell people the next big star is just around the corner. Matter of fact, a colleague of mine, James Andrew Luna, Tailored to the Stars. That's another thing, Daniella. If you need any wardrobe, my guy here, James Andrew, he'll hook you up. Fantastic gowns, all kind of great stuff.
Yes,
But
yes.
he just did an incredible coat for the singer Mario Bryant, and he was on the television show Second Chances, and so it was a new music show, and
Yes.
he was on there and wore this incredible red outfit that was tailored and created by James Andrew Luna, and he, so I'm digging in my Rolodex, man. Everybody that I know in the music industry, I'm telling everybody about Daniella Morrow. I'm telling everybody.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. So we've only got a few minutes left, so I wanted to make sure we got some of the questions in the comment section answered.
Yeah.
Carrie wants to know, if you had to start over, would you try America's Got Talent?
Yes, I've actually auditioned quite a few times. I've kind of lost count, to be honest. Um, right place, right time, and there's a lot behind the scenes that goes on with these sort of talent shows. I'm sure you guys understand what I mean. So,
I can imagine.
it's I've auditioned for them. I would love to be on there. That would be great.
And
I'm
Evelyn
taking
is
notes.
saying she wants Rodney to take note that she's connected to Bocelli as well as the French government. So there you go.
Good to know.
Yeah, yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
So get a little bit of a boost up there from. It always helps to know people. So
yes.
So the main thing we want to know before you go is, what is up next? What should we look for you in or doing that we can all, get behind you and help be a part of what you're doing?
More music for sure. And like we spoke about a little bit earlier, original music. So that's a big one. That's my project at the moment, is getting.
So will it be another album next?
I don't think the album will be in the immediate future. Probably a couple singles though, or with original music. So I do have on my website. I know you guys have that there. You can sign up on my email list. Also, I have a text list too for people that prefer text. Because I'll boost out all the announcements, when I drop a new song or video. And of course, I'm on all the social media platforms, so you can follow me on there. So I announce, what's coming. I always announce what's coming.
Yeah. So we're excited about that. Again, you got your amazing CD here that is out there. It is called Inspired by Daniella Morrow. Run out, get your copy. Make sure that you, make sure you go to the website, order your copy today. Get one for yourself, get one for a friend. This is fantastic. And also, too, the supplements, make sure you check out Common Sense Health. They're right here in Torrance, California. If you got questions, check them out at info at commonsenseherbs.com. commonsenseherbs.com. Go check them out. Go to their website, www.commonsenseherbs.com. There it is. Yeah.
Love it. And sadly, we have to go. It's that time. Yeah.
But you're always welcome
go.
back. So any new news, hey, we want it first right here on the This Way Network. This has been an exclusive with the one and only Daniella Morrow. Thank you, Daniella, for giving us a little bit of time. We really appreciate you. We're going to be behind you. Everybody, run out. Get your CD. I got mine. Mine's autographed.
Yes,
and we got to get one for Nina. We got to get one for Nina, too.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful.
All right. Well, y'all, thank you for joining us today on the This Way Network. And we're so happy to have gotten to introduce Daniella to so many of you.
Thank you.
And have a great week. And remember, God is with us and we aren't alone. Bye, everybody.
Have a great week. God bless everybody and take care. And we'll see you next Monday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, right here on the This Way Network. It is the chat session.